Hello everyone, welcome again to online session of Manolaw classes. I am Dinesh Kumar. I am former assistant professor of law at Campus Law Center, Law Faculty, Delhi University, and presently I am working as an academic head of Manolaw classes. So dear students, today I will discuss with you one of the landmark judgment of Honorable Supreme Court, that is in the case of Union of India and others versus Onkar Nath Dhar. But before moving to the decision part of Honorable Supreme Court, there is some important announcement for all of you. Admissions are open at Manolaw classes for upcoming batch of 2022 and 2023 and for 1-year course and 2-year course program. All of you may get yourself enrolled with us for getting the best result. For more information, you can dial on the given number on the screen, that is 9971 444 054. And you may also visit our website, that is www.lawentranceindia.com. Dear students, we are also providing 15 days free trial to all the aspirants of law entrance examinations, and you will get the following benefits in these 15 days free trial. Benefit number 1, you will get live classes with one-to-one interaction. Second, you will get recorded conceptual lectures on various topics. You will also get various topic tests and sectional tests. And at last, we will provide you the analysis of your performance, and this analysis will be done by our team of experts. For availing this facility, you need to do the following activities. First of all, you need to find the link given in the description below. Then you should locate the sign up program for the 15 days free trial, and you should fill the form available there, and then you will be eligible to get the benefit of this facility of 15 days free trial program. So dear students, this decision, that is Union of India and others versus Onkar Nath Dhar, was delivered by Honorable Supreme Court on 5th August 2021. In this decision, I will discuss with you some of the following constitutional and legal provisions. And the first article of Constitution of India is Article 14 of Constitution of India. It provides for right to equality before law and equal protection of law. So dear students, right to equality is one of the fundamental rights under Part 3rd of the Constitution of India, as all of you are aware about it, and it provides that there shall be equality before law and equal protection of laws. It means that all the person will be equal in the eyes of law and no special treatment will be given to anyone. As far as the equal protection of laws are concerned, it provides that the protection of laws will be equally available to every citizen of India or every person without any discrimination of any kind. But these rights are not absolute, rather these are subject to some reasonable restrictions or reasonable exceptions. Now I move to Article 21. Article 21 provides for right to life and personal liberty, and Article 21 with respect to this particular case is important that right to life and personal liberty also include right to shelter. So in this case, I will discuss with you right to shelter. So that's why Article 21 become necessary to discuss with you. Subsequently, we come to Section 21D of Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. So dear students, this Section 21D defines the human rights, and it provides that all the rights which are given in the Constitution of India, especially in the Part 3rd of the Constitution of India, must be implemented in their letter and spirit. Now we come to Section 3B of Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupant Act 1971. Basically, this act provides, or this section provides for the notice to the person who is unauthorizedly in the occupation of any public premises or any government accommodation. So now we come to the facts of this case. So as I told you, the name of the case is Union of India and others versus Onkar Nath Dhar. So my dear students, in this case Union of India is the appellant and Onkar Nath Dhar is the respondent. So what happened in this case? This respondent Onkar Nath Dhar was an officer in the Intelligence Bureau and he was shifted to Jammu and Kashmir. From Jammu and Kashmir he was transferred to Delhi, and from Delhi he was further shifted or transferred to Faridabad, and he got his superannuation on 31st October 2006. मीन्स ये पर्सन जो रेस्पोंडेंट है इस केस में इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो में एक ऑफिसर थे, पहले इनको जम्मू कश्मीर शिफ्ट किया गया, जम्मू कश्मीर के बाद फिर इनको दिल्ली शिफ्ट किया गया और दिल्ली से फिर इनका फर्दर ट्रांसफ़र हुआ फरीदाबाद के लिए, जो कि हरियाणा में एक प्लेस है, और ये 31 अक्टूबर 2006 को रिटायर हो गए अपनी सर्विस से. सो he made a representation to the government of India that he should be allowed to remain in the government accommodation for 1 more year even after his retirement, and government of India allowed him to remain in the government accommodation for 1 more year. But after 1 year he made the another representation to the government of India that he should be allowed to remain in the government accommodation till such time till the circumstances get normal in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. तो बेसिकली जब ये रिटायरमेंट हुए या जब इनका रिटायरमेंट हुआ उस समय पर जम्मू एंड कश्मीर की सिचुएशन वो नॉर्मल नहीं थी. एज ऑल ऑफ यू आर अवेयर दैट देर इज सम प्रॉब्लम इन द स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एंड terrorist activities takes place there in that particular state. So he made the further representation to the government of India that he should be allowed to remain in the government accommodation until the circumstances get normal in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But government of India and the concerned officer of the government of India issued notice to this respondent under section 3B, as I discussed with you, under Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Act 1971. मीन्स गवर्नमेंट के ऑफिसर ने इनको एक नोटिस दिया और इनके अगेंस्ट एक इविक्शन ऑर्डर पास किया. इविक्शन ऑर्डर हेयर मीन्स दैट नाउ यू नीड टू वैकेट द गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन आफ्टर योर रिटायरमेंट एंड यू आर नो लॉन्गर eligible to get the benefit of government accommodation because you attained the age of your superannuation. क्योंकि वो रिटायर हो गया था तो अब उसको ऑर्डर पास किया गया उसके अगेंस्ट रेस्पोंडेंट के कि अब आपको गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन को खाली करना होगा. व्हाट हैपेंड देन? ही चैलेंज दिस ऑर्डर ऑफ द कंसर्न्ड ऑफिसर इन द दिल्ली डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट, बट देयर वाज एन ऑब्जेक्शन रिगार्डिंग द jurisdiction in the Delhi court because the place was Faridabad or he was living at Faridabad. So Faridabad falls under the jurisdiction of the Haryana. ठीक है. So he withdrew his appeal or petitions from there and filed the petition in the Additional District Court of Faridabad. Additional District Court of Faridabad dismissed his petition on 19th August 2009 and held that he is not entitled to remain in the government accommodation after his retirement. So the respondent means Onkar Nath Dhar challenged the order of District Court of Faridabad in Honorable High Court, and the single bench of Honorable High Court reversed the order of or stayed the order of this District Court of Faridabad, and Honorable Court relied upon the decision of JL Cole versus State of Jammu and Kashmir, and the first this single bench of Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court gave relief to the respondent and held that respondent is entitled to remain in the government accommodation even after his retirement till the circumstances गेट नॉर्मल इन द स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर. तो ये जो केस था JL कोल वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, इस केस में JL कोल को ये बेनिफिट मिला था कि दैट ही इज अलाउड टू रिमेन इन द गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन till the circumstances get normal in the state of Jammu and Kashmir। तो इस ऑर्डर के आधार पर और इस केस के जजमेंट के आधार पर पंजाब एंड हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट की सिंगल बेंच ने ये डिसीजन दिया दैट रेस्पोंडेंट शुड बी अलाउड टू रिमेन इन द गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन इवन आफ्टर हिज रिटायरमेंट until the circumstances get normal in the state of Jammu and Kashmir। And Honorable Court further held that either the government should give him the government accommodation or should allow him to remain in the government accommodation, or government should provide him some transit accommodation, means कहीं पर और उसको accommodation दिया जाना चाहिए। Or if the government is not able to provide the transit accommodations to the respondent, then government should provide 1 lakh rupees per family compensation as the compensation rule in this regard। तो यहाँ पे 3 ऑप्शन दिए ऑनरेबल कोर्ट ने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया मीन्स एपिलेंट को। पहला दैट ईदर the respondent should be allowed to remain in the government accommodation, this first। Second, either the government should provide any other accommodation or transit accommodations to the respondent, and third one, the government should provide the compensation allowance to the respondent as per the rule 1 lakh rupees per family as allowance amount। So the decision of first bench or single bench was challenged by the appellant, that is Union of India, before the division bench of the Punjab and Haryana High Court। But the division bench of Punjab and Haryana High Court also affirmed the decision of single bench। So now appellant, that is Government of India, moved in appeal to Honorable Supreme Court। इस प्रकार से ये डिसीजन ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास आया। Now the main issue before Honorable Supreme Court in this case was that whether respondent is entitled to have the government accommodation till the circumstances become normal in the state of Jammu and Kashmir in the given factual situation। Means क्या respondent के पास right to shelter है और in given circumstances में he has the right to remain in the government accommodation even after his retirement। The appellant raised the 2 contentions in this case, and the first contention was that appellant contended that the possession of house by respondent even after his superannuation or retirement is illegal। तो appellant ने कहा कि retirement के बाद respondent does not have any right to remain in the government accommodation, and if he is still living in the government accommodation even after his retirement, this is an illegal act on the part of respondent। So respondent should not be allowed to remain in the government accommodation after his retirement। And appellant gave the decision of Lok Prahari versus State of UP and others in its support। मीन्स अपनी कंटेंशन की सपोर्ट में एपिलेंट ने लोक प्रहरी 1 वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ उत्तर प्रदेश एंड अदर्स के डिसीजन को साइट किया। सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस डिसीजन, इस डिसीजन में एग्जीक्यूटिव इंस्ट्रक्शन जो थी रिगार्डिंग द अलॉटमेंट ऑफ हाउसेस टू द एक्स चीफ मिनिस्टर वर फाउंड टू बी लीगल। मीन्स ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इस केस में जो एग्जीक्यूटिव इंस्ट्रक्शन थी जिसके अनुसार जो एक्स चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं उनको घर दिया जाना था, उस इंस्ट्रक्शन को इलीगल डिक्लेयर किया था। तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस डिसीजन ऑफ ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट, रेस्पोंडेंट शुड आल्सो नॉट बी अलाउड टू रिमेन इन द गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन इवन आफ्टर हिज रिटायरमेंट। दिस वाज द कंटेंशन और दिस वाज द फर्स्ट कंटेंशन ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ द एपिलेंट। नाउ वी कम टू द सेकंड कंटेंशन। Second contention was that if a government officer is allowed to remain in the government accommodation even after his retirement, then it will amount to the violation of the right of accommodations of the existing government officers। Means देखिएगा, government provide government accommodations to any officer till or while he remain in service। गवर्नमेंट किसी भी अपने ऑफिसर को गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन केवल तभी प्रोवाइड करती है या तब तक ही प्रोवाइड करती है जब तक वो व्यक्ति गवर्नमेंट की सर्विस में होता है। and there are a limited number of government accommodation. So if a person is in service and he is not getting the government accommodation, but the person who has retired from the government, he is in the possession of the government accommodation, so it means that the right of existing government officer is being violated by the previous government officer in this case. So on this basis, it was contended by the appellant, that is the Union of India, that a respondent in this case should not be allowed to remain in the government accommodation after his retirement. So now we come to the contentions of the respondent. तो respondent ने भी अपनी बात रखी और उसने following contentions को रखा अपने support में. So the first contention on the part of respondent was that right to shelter is a fundamental right. So respondent contended that the right to shelter is a fundamental right under Article 21 of Constitution of India. जैसा हमने आपको बताया था कि right to life, Article 21 include right to life and right to life include right to shelter. This was held by Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Olga Tellis and others versus Bombay Municipal Corporation and others 1985. So Honorable Supreme Court ने Olga Tellis and others versus Bombay Municipal Corporation and others के केस में ये डिसीजन दिया that the right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution of India also include right to shelter. So it was the contention on the part of a respondent that since circumstances are not normal in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, so he should be allowed to remain in the government accommodation, and if he is not allowed, then his right to shelter under Article 21 will be violated. Now we come to the second contention. Respondent further contended that right to livelihood and right to shelter both are connected with each other. Means right to livelihood और right to shelter दोनों एक दूसरे से related होते हैं. And if his right to shelter is violated, then his right to livelihood will also be violated. Means अगर उसका right to shelter को violate किया जाता है, then his right to livelihood will also be violated. अब हम इसको समझते हैं कैसे. देखिएगा कोई पर्सन अगर यूपी से या बिहार से आके दिल्ली में रहता है, ठीक है, एंड दिल्ली में वो रहता है, तो वहाँ पर दिल्ली में उसको शेल्टर मिली हुई है, कोई एकोमोडेशन मिला हुआ है. सो आप जानते हैं कि जनरली कोई भी पर्सन वहाँ पर रहता है जहाँ पर वो अपनी लाइवलीहुड अर्न करता है, जहाँ पर वो 2 पैसे कमाता है, 4 पैसे कमाता है या कोई अपना जॉब करता है. सो इफ वी टेक द राइट टू शेल्टर फ्रॉम दैट पर्सन, देन ऑब्वियसली his job will also go, so his right to livelihood will also be affected. So this was the second contention on the part of the respondent. Now we come to third contention. Respondent contended that if residential bungalow can be given to the ex chief minister, तो उसने ये contention ली कि भाई if residential bungalow can be given to the ex chief minister or former chief minister, so it can also be provided to the फॉर्मर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय. तो उसने कहा कि भाई अगर आप रेजिडेंशियल बंगला एक्स चीफ मिनिस्टर को दे सकते हैं तो ये राइट मेरा भी है, आई कैन आल्सो क्लेम दिस राइट टू शेल्टर और राइट टू गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन इवन आफ्टर माय रिटायरमेंट. नाउ वी कम टू द डिसीजन ऑफ ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट. सो ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट आफ्टर एनालाइजिंग द डिसीजन ऑफ बोथ द पार्टीज came to the following conclusion, and in this conclusion Honorable Supreme Court held that right and duties are related to each other. तो Honorable Supreme Court ने कहा कि right और duties एक दूसरे से related होती हैं. Right of one person is the duty of another person, and the duty of one person is the right of other person. So Honorable Supreme Court ने कहा कि so unauthorized occupant must bear this fact in mind that their act of overstaying in the premises directly infringe the right of another. Means agar former employee will remain in the government accommodation even after his retirement, then it will violate the right of the existing government officers. ठीक है, क्योंकि we are having limited number of government accommodation, and these can only be given to the existing government officers and not to the former government officer. So if a former government officer is living in the government accommodation even after his retirement, then this act of overstaying is violating the right of the existing government officer. Second, allotment of government property to anyone or someone without adequate market rent. अब आप जानते हैं कि जो गवर्नमेंट एकोमोडेशन मिलते हैं उनका रेंट कंपैरेटिवली प्राइवेट एकोमोडेशन से कम होता है. So Honorable Supreme Court held that if you are giving government accommodation to anyone without adequate market rent, then it amount to the violation of the law and you cannot do this act. Means providing the government accommodations to any person without any adequate market rent is an illegal act if it is not having the support of any law. Now we come to the third contention. Honorable Supreme Court held that preamble of the Constitution of India and Article 14 of the Constitution of India provides for the equality of status and of opportunity and equality before law and equal protection of law. And we also have the single citizenship in India. Means हमारे देश में सभी लोगों का स्टेटस समान है, सभी लोगों को हम इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी देते हैं, सभी लोग कानून की नज़रों में समान हैं और सभी को इक्वल प्रोटेक्शन भी कानून की दी जाती है. सो इफ वी विल क्रिएट अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ क्लास दैट इज फॉर्मर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय, सो it will be against Article 14 of the Constitution of India and other constitutional ethos. Means हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सबको बराबर मानता है एंड हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में किसी भी पर्सन को एक स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट नहीं दिया जा सकता. सो फॉर्मर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय आल्सो कैन नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड. सो द फॉर्मर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय कैन नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज ए सेपरेट क्लास because it will be against the constitutional ethos. Now we come to the fourth point. Honorable Supreme Court held that as far as the contention of respondent that if the accommodation can be given to the ex-chief minister, so the accommodation can also be given to the former government employee. This contention of the this respondent cannot be sustained. This contention of the respondent cannot be sustained. इसको नहीं accept किया जा सकता. ठीक है, क्यों? Because the act which provides for this facility to the ex-chief minister means the minister's salaries, allowances and miscellaneous provisions act 1981. This act was considered illegal or this act was struck down by the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Lok Prahari versus State of Uttar Pradesh. So if the act by which directions were given to provide the government accommodations to the former chief minister, this act was declared to be null and void by Honorable Supreme Court. So this contention cannot be sustained of the respondent. Now we come to 5. Providing residential accommodations to former government employee is subject to judicial review. So basically Honorable Supreme Court held that if government is making any policy or making any law which provide the accommodations to the former government employee, it will be subject to judicial review. Means Honorable Supreme Court can means Honorable Supreme Court can check its constitutional validity under Article 14 of the Constitution of India, which provides for equality before law and equal protection of law. And if Honorable Supreme Court will find it arbitrary in nature, then it can be struck down. Means अगर कोई गवर्नमेंट ऐसी पॉलिसी बनाती है जिससे कि वो फॉर्मर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय को एकोमोडेशन देती है, तो उस पॉलिसी को ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चैलेंज किया जा सकता है. एंड ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट विल सी दैट if such policy is arbitrary in nature, then Honorable Supreme Court can struck down such policy, ठीक है, on the basis of that it is not it does not fall within the reasonable classification or it is arbitrary in the nature. Now we come to the next point. Honorable Supreme Court further held that the right to shelter under Article 21 is only available to the poor person of the society. Means जो right to shelter Article 21 में है, जो कि ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ओल्गा थैलिस के केस में बताया, या ओल्गा थैलिस के केस में ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि आर्टिकल 21 इंक्लूड द राइट टू शेल्टर एज वेल. दिस राइट इज ओनली अवेलेबल टू द पुअर पर्सन ऑफ द सोसाइटी, and this right is not available to those former government employee who has drawn a handsome salary from the government and now they are taking various other benefits including the pension. So यहाँ पर डिफरेंस ये है कि जो गरीब लोग हैं who cannot afford the government, who cannot afford the private accommodation, if the government is providing shelter to them, then this benefit cannot be taken by the former government employee who has drawn handsome salary and who has taken another benefits of the government. तो ये जो राइट टू शेल्टर है, जो कि ओल्गा थैलिस के केस में ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने रिकॉग्नाइज किया था, दिस इज अवेलेबल ओनली टू द पुअर पर्सन ऑफ द सोसाइटी एंड दिस राइट टू शेल्टर इज नॉट अवेलेबल टू द फॉर्मर गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय. So dear students, that's all for today. You may ask any of your doubt in the comment box. We will reply you. So I'll come again with the next latest or path breaking judgment of Honorable Supreme Court. Till then, please take care yourself and observe the COVID appropriate behavior. Thank you very much. Goodbye.